Welcome, I'm Rebecca, and this is a somatic yoga practice to reduce anxiety and bring your nervous system back to that state of calm. If you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or stuck in your head, this gentle reset will guide you back into your body, help release that tension, and reconnect you with a sense of inner peace. We're going to move slowly and mindfully, combining somatic movement and breath work and gentle yoga to support the nervous system. You'll be guided to tune into your breath and those sensations, to observe these things without judgment and to stay grounded in the present moment, helping you return to that safety in your body. This is your practice, so please be gentle with yourself. Adjust or skip anything that doesn't feel right today. That's how we rebuild that trust with our body and our nervous system. If you have a couple of yoga blocks or a bolster, you're welcome to grab them, but they're not necessary. Let's get started. Option to begin today's practice seated in a cross-legged position, bringing one hand to the heart and one to the navel, and just beginning to drop into the body and beginning to notice that breath, the rise and the fall, the chest and the belly beneath your hands. Noticing any of those sensations that might be here in this moment. Maybe following those sensations throughout your body, noticing where they might be in the body. Noticing if you want to bring a little bit of a sway in, maybe just a gentle movement back and forth. Next, we're going to move into some alternate nostril breathing. So bringing the right hand up to the nose, we're going to use the right thumb and we're going to cover the right nostril. We're going to inhale through the left, cover the left with the ring finger, open the right, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, cover the right, and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, cover the left, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, cover the right, and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, cover the left, and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, cover the right, exhale through the left. So continuing back and forth with this breath, Nadi Shodhana. We are balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain, the feminine and masculine energy, cleansing those energy centers, and of course, activating that parasympathetic branch. When you have completed exhaling through the left, just coming back to center, maybe taking a nice deep cleansing breath, and then noticing any changes in the energy. Maybe there's been a shift. Maybe you want to begin to bring a little bit of movement back, swaying, maybe looking around, maybe moving the neck and the head, just noticing what your body needs here. Maybe sitting back, tapping those toes if you need to release a little bit of energy, a little bit of a stomp on the ground. Maybe lengthening those legs, finding a little bit of touch here, orienting with that sense of touch, maybe tapping or even just grabbing at the legs, feeling the pants, the texture beneath your hands. An option to bring the feet together into a butterfly posture. We're going to move into a simple vagus nerve reset here. I want you to keep your head straight, but bring that gaze up to the right corner towards the ceiling. You might feel a yawn or a deep breath move in. That is the nervous system resetting. Just noticing what sensations are moving through as you hold this gaze towards the right corner. This exercise is one of Stanley Rosenberg's to activate that parasympathetic branch by stimulating the vagus nerve. And maybe you bring that gaze back to center, noticing whether you need a deep breath. Maybe doing a little bit of orienting with the eyes just to reset. And then when you're ready, bringing that gaze to the left, up to the left corner, keeping that head straight. Always being patient with yourself as well. Sometimes when we begin to bring in these exercises that activate our vagus nerve, our nervous system can actually send those alarm signals telling us that there is some sort of danger because it is new. Our nervous system does not like discomfort or pain or anything new. Noticing any sensations, and when you're ready, you can bring that gaze back, maybe looking around, orienting a little bit here. You can gaze up, maybe turn the head, bringing some movement into the neck here. And if you are up on a bolster, a pillow, or a block, you're welcome to remove that. Staying in that butterfly, soles are together, knees out to either side. And maybe beginning to pulse those knees a little bit, really opening those hips, releasing some of the tension. We hold a lot of emotional energy in our hips. Our sacral chakra is at our navel, that center for emotional regulation. Very grounding, allowing this energy to flow, this grounding earth energy to move up through the root. Noticing any sensations that begin to move through the body. Noticing any emotions. Breathing as you move. And then coming to stillness. And just taking a moment to sit with what's happening in the body. And when you're ready, moving into a stretch, pulling that chest down towards the feet. Holding and breathing, maybe taking 3 deep breaths here. Keeping your awareness on the breath, on the body, maybe those parts you feel stretching, releasing any of that energy, that tension, that stuck energy on those exhales. Throughout our practice, we want to be really focusing on deepening that breath when we're especially holding these postures. And when we're moving, we want to match that breath to movement, focusing on the sensations in the body, the emotions, and on that breath, staying in the present moment. When you're ready to release, come on back up and noticing what you need. Maybe you want to bring the hands behind you and come into some windshield wipers, moving those knees back and forth from left to right. Maybe you're tapping those feet again or those toes if you need to release any energy. Maybe it's something completely different. And then coming to a cross-legged position. And just noticing, maybe closing down the eyes. Let's begin to do a little bit of tapping on the chest, just the center of the chest, bringing one hand up and just tapping here, bringing your awareness into this heart center, allowing the breath to flow as you tap, opening this beautiful energy center, our heart chakra, allowing this compassionate, loving energy to expand through your body. Our heart is such a powerful space to spend time in. The heart has its own mini brain, this collection of neurons that actually sends more signals from the heart to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So it is an extremely intelligent organ that we tend to overlook. So finding that gratitude, sitting in this heart space is such a powerful practice. And when you feel complete, maybe just bringing the hand flat on the heart and just taking a moment to notice any shifts in energy, any new sensations in the body. Maybe taking some more of those deep breaths. Next, we're going to bring in a little bit of a hug. So simply wrapping your arms around your chest, giving yourself that hug. If you'd like to bring that right hand underneath the left arm, and then left hand wraps around the right arm, bringing a little bit of a sway from left to right in here. Noticing any shifts in that energy. And if you had that right hand tucked, just switching here, bringing the opposite hand underneath the other arm and finding another rock here. Rocking and swaying is so calming. We do this for our babies, for our children, and our nervous system is exactly the same. So it helps to calm us as well. And when you're ready, maybe bringing in some seated cat-cows. Hands can come to the knees. And opening forward, chest and gaze lift. And as you exhale, rounding that back. Maybe rocking a little bit on the sits bones as well, back and forth. Grounding here, feeling that earth energy move up. Grounding is so beneficial when it comes to reducing that anxiety and that overwhelm. You're welcome to find one posture. Maybe that cat or that cow feels good, so you're holding it for a moment. Ensuring that breath is flowing. And when you're ready, moving back to center and noticing, how does your body feel? Any sensations that might be moving through, checking in here. We're going to continue working with the hips here. We're going to take a hold of the right foot and we're going to bring this right ankle over top of the left knee. So both of these shins are going to be parallel with the mat. Now this right knee might be lifted quite a bit, or maybe we can push it down towards the left ankle. If we can't get it up on the knee, maybe it's just sitting in front. Okay, you can grab a couple blocks if you'd like. And we're going to twist our body over to the left. Now, if you don't have blocks, we can certainly just kind of twist our body, have our hands on the ground, or maybe you'd like to use those blocks for a little more support. So you're going to find your variation here, and then you're going to breathe. And I want your awareness to be on that right hip, noticing whether you can release the muscles a little bit here. That nervous system might begin to send those alarm signals if we're in a little bit of discomfort. So using that breath, maybe trying to release the muscles a little bit, letting go here. Maybe you're exhaling with sound here, really stimulating that vagus nerve through the throat, making a sigh as you exhale. Taking some more deep breaths at your own pace, really breathing into this right hip. Can even imagine a beautiful white or healing light moving in on the inhale, circulating in this right hip, circulating in this area that you're stretching and opening, grabbing any of that stale energy that may have been here for decades, for years, and releasing on the exhale. When you're ready, come on up, coming back to center and gently removing that right foot down, and then noticing any movements your body needs. Maybe you want those windshield wipers again, or maybe you just want to lengthen those legs out. Maybe you're in stillness and just noticing the difference between that left and right side. Finding what your body needs in this moment. We're here to listen to our body, to honor what is needed in every moment. That might be what I am guiding, or it might be something completely different. Shaking out those legs might be nice. Sometimes after holding those stretches and releasing that energy, we can actually feel like we need to shake off a little more energy. And when you feel complete, come on back to that cross-legged position. Maybe take a moment to notice here any differences between that left and right side, maybe sensations. Maybe the right side feels lighter, looser, maybe not, just noticing what's here. We're going to move into a twisted motion here. So let's bring the arms up in goalpost, bent at the elbows, palms facing in. We're going to inhale and exhale through the nose. Passive inhale to the right as we twist. Exhale, forceful exhale to the left, all through the nose. Now you can decide how quickly or how slowly you are moving here. Inhale, passive inhale to the right, exhale, forceful through the nose to the left. If at any time it becomes too much, coming back to center and noticing any energy shifts, any changes in the body. And if you haven't already, bringing those hands down, maybe taking a nice, deep, releasing breath. Nice breath in, and let it go. Noticing what's happening in the body. Any sensations moving through. Now we're going to move into that hip stretch on the opposite side. So we're going to grab the left foot, ankle, bring it over to the right knee. Maybe shins are stacked on top of each other, parallel to the front of the mat. That knee might be lifted, that left knee. Maybe you can push it down a little. Or again, maybe that left foot is in front if that's too much to bring it onto the knee. And then we're going to maybe bring the blocks, or we're just going to twist our body over to the right, finding your variation. and breathing. Taking some nice deep breaths into the left hip. Imagine that healing white light moving in, circulating throughout the hip, grabbing any of that stale energy no longer serving you, and then exhale, release it. Making that sound with the throat as you release. Maybe even holding at the top for a moment if that feels right. Releasing the muscles in that left hip that might be trying to tense. Both feet are flexed here. Noticing those sensations that might be beginning to move through that left hip, thigh. Maybe there's sensations in different parts of the body. Staying with those sensations, with that breath. Maybe there's some discomfort moving in. Can we use the breath through that discomfort? That nervous system is always going to try and get us to escape uncomfortable emotions, uncomfortable conversations. It does not like us stepping outside of our comfort zone. And then we're going to come on out, come back to center, gently release that foot, that leg. Maybe you're lengthening the legs out. Noticing what your body needs here. Maybe you're checking in with those sensations, the left and right hip and legs, what's happening. Maybe you're pointing, flexing the feet. Maybe you want to find that little bit of a shake for the legs once again. Sometimes you might even notice a yawn moves in as we're stimulating the vagus nerve, activating that parasympathetic branch by slowing down, listening to the body. Maybe you're bringing those knees into those windshield wipers once again, moving back and forth. Maybe you're doing something completely different that feels right for you in this moment. We're going to keep that right leg lengthened on the mat. We're going to bring the left sole to the inside of that right thigh, or you can bring it up and over the leg. Right arm might wrap around that left knee. And maybe we're holding that knee, giving it a hug, or maybe that left arm comes behind us on the mat, twisting towards the knee, breathing here. Noticing maybe it's a little difficult to breathe deeply. That belly is compressed just a little. Really allowing that belly to open, expand as you breathe. Maybe you can feel the back open and expand. Maybe you lengthen a little taller. Maybe you can twist a little more as we hold this posture and breathe deeply. Option to have those eyes closed. Noticing any sensations moving through the body as you hold this posture. And when you're ready, beginning to release. Finding any of that movement you might need. Or maybe just noticing in stillness any differences. When you're ready, we'll move on to the other side. You can bring the right sole to the inside or up and over that thigh. Left arm wraps around the right knee. Torso moves towards that right knee. Maybe that right hand comes down behind you. Finding your version of this twist. Maybe closing down those eyes. Finding some deep breaths. Twisting is a very powerful posture for the body. We are wringing out those internal organs and releasing any of that stale, stagnant energy that may have been sitting here for decades. We're also helping with that digestion, helping to get things flowing. So finding any twists is a really great posture to move into at any time. Noticing any energy shifts. And when you're ready, unwinding, maybe noticing, maybe giving your legs that shake. Maybe you want those windshield wipers, moving those knees back and forth from left to right. Taking a moment to just listen to what you need here to reset. And when you're ready, moving into that cross-legged position, we're going to work with our jaw, our face a little bit here. So bringing the hands maybe to either side of your face, along the cheeks, the jaw. Just noticing how that feels. That sense of touch. Maybe beginning to move them up a little closer to the eyes. Again, just noticing hundreds of little energy centers in our hands, helping to balance out this energy body. And maybe bringing that right hand to the back of the skull, and then the other hand to the forehead. This hold helps to regulate the stress response by bringing blood flow back to the prefrontal cortex, which is often reduced during those fight and flight states. Finding those deep breaths as you hold here. Maybe testing out a different breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then releasing when you're ready, bringing those hands to the knees, taking a moment to check in. Next, we're going to be moving into Malasana. So we're going to come on up to those feet and we're going to squat here. Feet are a little bit wider than hip distance. Those toes are maybe pointing out towards the corners of the mat. And we're going to bring those elbows to the inside of the knees. Hands can come in prayer position. Now, if you'd like, you can use the props. Maybe you have a block or something you'd like to sit on. If it's a little uncomfortable to have those hips hovering. And once you find your variation of Malasana today, closing down those eyes and noticing the connection of those feet on the mat, our root chakras at the base of our spine, just allowing that beautiful earth energy, that calming, safe energy to make its way up into the root, maybe even through the feet, feeling it rise all the way up through the midline of your body, all the energy centers along the spine to the top of the head. Maybe on those inhales, you're feeling this energy move up all the way to the top of the head. And then as you exhale, releasing this energy back down through the body, maybe back through the feet, giving any stale energy, anything no longer serving you, back to the earth. Let's bring those hands to the mat and let's do a couple little hip lifts here, just lifting those hips up and down. Option to bring the hands back into that prayer position, or you could keep them on the mat. Inhaling as you lift those hips up, maybe exhaling as you bring them down back into that Malasana. Finding your pace. Next, we're going to be making our way into child's pose. So we're going to come on to our hands and knees, and we're going to sit our hips back towards the heels. They may not touch, they might be lifted. Bring that forehead down to the mat, arms alongside the ears. Option to open those knees to either side of the mat so the belly comes between the knees. You can also use a block under the forehead if you'd like, if that forehead doesn't come all the way down to the mat. Finding your variation. And then once you find your child's pose, settling in, beginning to notice that breath. Sit. This is an extremely grounding and soothing posture for the nervous system. Maybe reaching those fingertips up a little higher on the mat to really feel those shoulder blades open. Taking some deep breaths here. As you inhale, notice those ribs expand. And then as you exhale, everything falls, letting go, releasing. And as you inhale, imagine again everything opening, expanding. This new energy moving in, grabbing any of this stale or old energy that's maybe been stagnant here for years, for decades. And then as you exhale, releasing it out. Option to roll that forehead on the mat or on the block. Just slowly back and forth. Maybe as we do that, checking in with the body, checking in with those sensations, noticing any shifts in energy. An option to begin to bring a little bit of movement here, maybe coming up through tabletop and then dropping those hips into a cobra, maybe moving back and forth, finding again your variation, coming forward into that cobra, maybe inhaling forward and exhaling, sitting back in that child's. I encourage you to really slow down this movement, really make it your own. There's no right or wrong way. Maybe you're holding one posture longer than the other. Maybe you're finding a different motion. You can do circles with the hips, moving one way and then maybe the other. Moving forward and back in that circular direction. Maybe you're rocking back and forth from left to right on the hips or on the knees. There is no right or wrong way, just noticing how your body wants to move and finding some fluid movement here, matching that breath. Noticing anything moving through the body. Sometimes even emotions might rise. If anything does, just noticing, maybe moving into stillness. Option to bring those arms down along the side if you're back in that child's pose. Taking a moment here to connect with the body after that movement. At any time, pulling in any affirmations that resonate. I am safe. I am grounded. I let go of control. And when you're ready, we're going to lift that head. So we're going to be sitting on these feet now. If that's uncomfortable on the knees or the feet, you can always grab a block and place it under those sits bones. Or, of course, you're welcome to just come into a cross-legged position or anything that might work here. Just settling in, taking a moment to notice, connect with the body in this new position. And we're going to work a little bit with the neck and the shoulders here. So maybe noticing this area of your body. Maybe some movement wants to come in. Maybe the head wants to move a little bit in circles or from left to right. Maybe the shoulders find some movement. Just noticing what's happening here, an area where we hold a lot of tension, a lot of stress. Maybe beginning to look from side to side. Maybe the eyes are open here and you're wanting to do a little bit of orienting. Something that is always helpful to look around the space, use those eyes to bring in that grounding. Option to bring those arms behind, maybe interlace the fingers or grab the elbows and open that heart. Taking a couple breaths here into the heart space. Such an important area to bring our awareness to, ignite this love and this compassion. And when you're ready, release. Bring those hands back to the thighs. Connect with the heart here. When you're ready, we're going to move off the block and we're going to be coming onto a laying position on the mat. So coming onto your back. And once you're here, maybe those knees want to come up into the chest for a little bit of a hug, wrapping those arms around, maybe rocking a little bit from left to right, massaging that spine here. Come on into a reclined twist. We can drop those knees over to the right, maybe gazing over that left shoulder. Arms can be out in a T if you'd like, but always finding what's comfortable for you. Noticing whether both shoulders are on the mat. Maybe a block or a bolster can always come below the knees if they're hovering. Just settling into your variation of this reclined twist. Slowing down, checking in with the body, staying in this present moment. And when you're ready, we'll bring those knees back up to center and we'll drop them over to the left. Maybe gazing over that right shoulder, that opposite shoulder. Finding your variation here. Tuning in. If that mind wanders, And just coming back to that anchor, that breath, those sensations, the sounds, whatever grounds you in this present moment. Next, we're going to be moving into legs up the wall. So coming back to center and then making your way up, finding a space where you can bring your sits bones up against the wall and swing those legs up. So they're resting against the wall. You can even do this on a couch. The knees can be bent if that's more comfortable. Arms can be out in a T, or again on the body, whatever feels safe and grounding for you in this moment. This pose is incredibly supportive for the nervous system. It helps to reverse blood flow, calm the mind, and helps with that anxiety and fatigue. Really great posture to do before bed. Feeling the earth beneath you. Noticing any sensations moving through the feet and the legs. And just being with those sensations, the mind may start to tell some stories or attach some thoughts, but just really trying to be with the sensations exactly as they are without making them into anything bigger. The nervous system may also start to send some alarm bells or signals if it gets a little uncomfortable, if that numbness begins. But just noticing again with curiosity, without judgment, taking any deep breaths you need to, and just noticing these sensations. The nervous system does not like anything new or foreign, does not like change. So when we come into new postures, when we feel new sensations or uncomfortable sensations, it might tell us to move out. Noticing that, maybe being able to take a few deep breaths through. When you're ready, come on over back to the mat, and you're going to make your way on to your back. We're moving into Savasana here, our final posture, finding your variation. Maybe those arms are down alongside the body, feet stretched out, feeling the connection to the mat, noticing those heels. Maybe they get a little heavier and drop a little deeper into the mat, onto that surface, the calves, glutes, the shoulder blades and the arms, the back of the head. Noticing your body melt a little deeper, feeling held by the earth. If at any time your hands want to move onto your body, please adjust as you need to. Feeling the earth cradle you. I am safe. I am grounded. I trust. I am connected. Staying here for the next few minutes, allowing all of the energy you've moved to settle, and just noticing that natural pace, that regular rhythm of your breath, allowing it to flow naturally. And if it's comfortable, taking the next few minutes to remain right here. You're welcome to remain here as long as you'd like. If you're ready to begin to bring some movement back, maybe the toes and the fingers begin to wiggle. Maybe slowly rocking the head back and forth from left to right. Noticing what your body needs here. Maybe those soles want to come up to the mat. Maybe you need something different. Option to roll on to the side body, maybe to your right side in that fetal position. Head can be rested on that right arm. Maybe taking a nice breath, connecting with that breath once again. Option to begin to make your way up. Maybe you're moving into a seated posture, that cross-legged position, or maybe you're staying right where you are. We're going to take a couple final deep breaths together. Option to bring your hands to the heart in prayer position. And as you inhale, I want you to take a nice deep breath. Imagine that energy moving up through the root to the top of the head. And exhaling, releasing. One more deep breath in. Maybe even pull the muscles up and in as you move that energy to the top of the head. You can hold and let it go. Take a moment here to thank yourself for showing up. I hope this calm carries with you into whatever comes next. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.